What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another Chaos Zero Nightmare video, and today we are going to be talking all about Narja, who just released a couple hours ago, and I did actually just farm a deck for her. You can notice that I did pull for her. I do actually have her available to E2, but in this showcase, which I'll show you at the end of the video if you're looking for how she actually does, I do still have her at E0. But I'm just here to tell you, after one day, or I guess a couple hours of testing her, what I personally think about her. So honestly, the way that her kit works, I've said this before, it's very hard to balance because she is not only a healer, she's also a damage dealer. If you see with Veracity, this buff she has, when you hit with an attack card, so anyone on your team, by the way, not just her, if an ally attacks as well, you get healed. If your health is 50% or higher, you do extra damage. So you could see it's like a sword and a shield at the same time. I know that was a very cringe analogy, but you get what I'm saying. So that makes her a character that can heal your team and also buff your team's damage. But also on certain builds, you're going to be able to do crazy damage with her because of this mealtime attack. But before we go any further, I want to take a quick moment to talk about today's sponsor, LD Shop. If you guys are at any point in this video interested, make sure you guys check out my link down below. LD Shop is the best way to make in-game purchases, and it's honestly really easy to use, and it saves you a ton of money on stuff you were already planning to buy. It's 100% legit and safe. I use it all the time myself, and it works perfectly. If you guys want to know how it actually works, it's very simple. You just have to search the game at the top here, which I'll show you on my screen, and then by doing this, you will see that your game will pop up. And then when you click on the game, you will see the options to have these discount codes on a ton of different stuff in the game. So why spend extra money in game when you can use LD Shop to get these discounts? So for example, if I want to buy this new Captain Support Kit 2, which will give you some summons and crystals, you just click it, you press top up, then you just put in the info that they require. And the best part about LD Shop is they give you this graphic that shows you what's happening with your delivery or your purchase. And when it finishes, it'll just tell you when it's done, and you'll be able to log in and get your rewards right away. And to my surprise, it took literally like 5 minutes, not even. So if you actually log into game once you get the notification that it is finished, you're gonna see if I go into my mail here, that my rewards are here. So an extremely fast and a lot cheaper way to purchase things in game. So why not just use it, right? You're just getting a discount on all the in-app purchases. It just makes it a lot easier. And they even give you a lot of coupons on the regular, and you'll also see that they support not only Chaos Zero Nightmare, which we're showcasing today, but a lot of other popular games, so you can use it for just any purchases that you want to do. But yeah, once again, huge shout out to LD Shop for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you guys check it out with my link down below. Now, back to the video. So, like I was saying, yeah, she does crazy damage. She also can heal you a lot. She also has good AoE, which is the crazy thing because this mealtime is AoE, and Domain of Veracity is also AoE and will allow you to ravage a lot quicker. So she pairs very well with something like a Sereniel, which was the last banner. And, you know, there's a lot of different ways to build her, which people haven't really explored yet, right? So the build I'm going to show you that I have is this one. Is it the best build? No, it's just the build that I'm running because it seems pretty cool. But we're really utilizing the Shackles of Hunger because you'll see that whenever we have, you know, Veracity available, we're going to hit multiple times. So generating Veracity, if you can do it with something like Voluntary Control, or by using something like the Ego skill of her, which I forgot to show you, but the Ego skill gives you 10 Veracity. If you can set it up with this, she can do crazy damage in one turn, which is going to be very good for the new content in Tower, where you're fighting 5 waves. You can keep lowering the cost of your mealtime, kind of cycle into this Ego skill, and then combo it together. So a lot of different ways to build her. No one really knows the best way, but this is the setup that I have where I'm using Shackles of Hunger because it actually does a decent amount of damage, and I found that she is a pretty good character. So in terms of like the partner, I do have her on her own partner, Gaia, and after testing her out with her potentials unlocked and on this damage dealer build, I can tell you for sure she does pretty insane damage. I think the fact that this character does crazy damage is very scary because that means if you need healing, you know, she's still doing decent damage and healing you. but when you are topped off, she's able to output a ton of damage while also buffing your team's damage. Now, in terms of who I found her to be very good with, I haven't tested her out with like stuff like Maylin and stuff like that because I don't have her built really. But in terms of Sereniel, if you guys have Sereniel, if you guys enjoy playing Sereniel like I do, and you have like a homing laser build where you have like a ton of these going back into your hand, these characters are insane together. I'll tell you right now. And the reason why is because Narja can do a ton of damage early on into the fight, and she can stack up this veracity for you. And then after that, what you can do is dump all this extra veracity, which is getting bonus damage, into your Sereniel lasers, which is going to do even more damage. So definitely a potent combo. So what do I think about her? I think personally, it's too early to tell exactly, but I think this type of character is always going to be in a spot where it's very hard to balance around her. And right now, we don't really have any super difficult content out besides like the new tower mode, which came out, as you can see at the top here, but it's still in beta. So we don't have like a great Rift boss or like Nebula Distortion to test out on bosses, but from testing her out for the past few hours, I guess like today, she definitely seems like a pretty good character that I would say you probably want to go for one copy of at least. But yeah, I do think the partner makes a huge difference, and it definitely buffs her damage by a lot because, you know, you're getting this defense boost, you're getting extra damage to your cards by 20%, and you're seeing that you can buff your allies' damage. So if you can't get her and her partner, I think it might be pretty hard to use her because the other partners for controllers are very defensive for the most part, so they don't really do anything in terms of helping her. So I'll show you guys how she works out in this tower fight. You can see that she's pretty good. So I'll show you guys a quick showcase here. I didn't want to show you guys the entire stage because that just takes a while, but you're going to be able to see, you know, how strong she can actually be in the setup. So right now, we are going to just send the mealtime because this will give us predation. And it's very easy to get it to 0. You can see the damage isn't even that bad. And if you use her ego skill after using mealtime, you're going to notice that you gain 10 veracity and you gain even more predation stacks. So you'll see right away, boom, good damage. And then notice the damage on this Shackles of Hunger, right? If I use this skill, Homing Laser, it's only doing 700. If I'm doing the Forbidden skill of Sereniel, it's also only doing about that much. But the damage from Narja, you can kind of see with this setup, or I guess not even with this setup, but, you know, with just her kit, and if you put her on a DPS build, it can be absolutely insane. So we do this. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be weak to Instinct, but, like, it's weak to Sereniel, too. You have to realize that. So before you say, oh, it's because I'm hitting a character or a target weak to Instinct, well, Sereniel is also weak, getting, you know, the benefit from it. So the damage comparison is literally the same playing field, right? Of course, Sereniel can do all of these extra hits, but that's the beauty of this combo because with these veracity stacks, she also wants to be with a character that hits a lot of times. So they actually pair very well together. So she does a lot of the front-loaded damage and lets us build those veracity stacks, and then she's kind of just raining extra damage with like Sereniel onto the boss here. You can see that it is extremely insane damage. But that is pretty much it for today's video. Just wanted to talk about Narja because she just came out, in case you guys were wondering how she is. I think for sure she's a strong character. I think the devs are starting to realize they're only going to get people to pull on banners if they're strong, and it is just a weird timing to release a good character like this because it's between seasons, right? There's no incentive to pull a really strong one, and, you know, maybe the future seasonal characters will be really strong for their seasonal bosses, right? Because if you think about it, Yuki and Chizuru, they released during the season, they really catered the bosses to them. Same with Sereniel. So if the new seasonal characters come out, are they going to be more worth it for that season? Most likely. So you have to kind of think about that. Also, farming for Narja's deck right now, you don't get the season tag for next season. This is the previous season, so you will have to refarm it, which is why I don't really plan to farm too hardcore for her, because if I do want to use her in the new seasonal content, I will have to refarm it. So let me know down below what you guys think about Narja so far if you pulled for her. and I will see you guys next video.